Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your moderator, Tony Spera. That was pretty good, right? I thought it was pretty good for being almost, 24 years since I've done it. Actually, I think the last time I did it was in the year 2000, so it was about 20 years ago. Amazing how you age in 20 years, huh? Well, I just got back from the garden, and I got a lot of peppers, a lot of jalapeno peppers, a lot of shishito peppers, and I have some tomatoes coming. You know, I'm here in Connecticut, so it's not like being down in the South where you get the tomatoes early. But they're coming, and I got a lot of them coming, and also cherry tomatoes besides the regular sized ones. But what I want to speak about today is, what do you do if your house is haunted? What do you do? And how do you know your house is haunted? That's an important ingredient right there. A lot of people come to us, the New England Society for Psychic Research, and say, hey, my house is haunted. I have a haunting in my house. You have to really determine what it is that's there. Is it really a haunted house? Is it perhaps their imagination? Is it medications that they're on? So the first thing I would do to determine if someone's house is haunted would be to interview them. Sit down with the person or persons or family and ask them, get the basic information: name, address, age, employment history. Are they employed? Then you would go into more personal things like, are they on medication, and if so, for what? Because some medications can cause hallucinatory type events. So we would get that out of the way. Also, are they heavy drug users or heavy alcohol users? Sometimes they won't admit it, but sometimes a family member will come forward later and say yes. Let's assume that you think your house is haunted. How would you know? There are various ways to know. Number one is to get the feeling that you think you're always being watched, though there's no one there. You just get a sense about you that something's watching me. It's an uneasy feeling. It's one you can't shake. That is one clue. Another clue is shadows out of the corner of your eye. You're watching TV, or you're in the kitchen, or you're somewhere in the house, and all of a sudden you think you saw something go by your peripheral vision. And then you look and there's nothing there. That's another clue. That's clue number two. Sounds, banging sounds, knocking sounds, rapping sounds. And a lot of times the sounds will come in three. Boom, boom, boom. They come in threes. And Ed used to say that, and I believe it, that it's an insult to the Holy Trinity, which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's an insult to that. Ed used to say anything that comes in threes is an insult in a haunted house to the creation, the creator of God. It could or could not be true all the time. Sometimes you may get more than three knocking sounds, or maybe less. But that's a clue when the knocking sounds can't be determined where they're coming from. Or whispers. You might get whispers in the house. You hear like in the other room, people are talking. You know there's no one in the room, but you kind of hear almost like a garbled human conversation, but you can't make out what they're saying. That's magic whispering, it's called, where it's definitely a human voice, but you just can't tell what they're saying. Being touched, a sensation of being touched, your name being called out, cold spots in the house, like the house is 80 degrees all over, and you walk into one room and suddenly it feels like a 40-degree drop in temperature, and you look over at the thermostat, it says 80. That's a clue too. That's a clue. That's basic haunted houses or objects moving. You put your car keys on the table. You know no one has touched them. You leave the car keys there. You come back A little while later, there's no car keys there. You can't find them anywhere. What's that? See, it's playing with you, ladies and gentlemen. It wants you to get scared, because the more frightened you are, the more energy you throw off into the atmosphere, enabling them to manifest themselves. So those are some of the things that can happen. I just saw a fly go by. I hate flies. It's one thing I don't like are flies or mosquitoes. Even I don't like to kill them unless I have to. Because remember, all God's creation is precious. But, when it comes to creepy crawling things, that's kind of another story. Especially when they try to bite you and hurt you like a mosquito. Sting you. But getting back to the haunted home, those are just some of the things that could happen in the house. Another clue would be arguments with your mate, with your significant other. Arguments that you never had before over small things. Really small things. And it would blow up into a full-fledged argument. Nightmares. Having dreams that are really out of the ordinary that you rarely, if ever, or never have had before. Thoughts that aren't your own. Thoughts of hurting someone or yourself, or causing really dismemberment to someone, something that's so gross that you would never really normally think of that. That's a form of infestation and oppression. So, what do you do if you have these things happening in your home? The first thing I tell most people to do is to get a blessing from an ordained member of the clergy. Does not have to be Catholic. Any ordained member of the clergy should be able to perform a holy blessing over you. And better than just performing a holy blessing over you would be to perform a blessing of the house and all occupants of the house itself too, and animals, and the outside property as well as the inside of the house. That's the first step. Some people, I tell them to do that, and they say, well, I couldn't find a priest, I couldn't find a minister. If you look hard enough, you can find one. And you know the old expression that Ed used to say all the time, money talks. So if you have to offer a donation to someone, to a clergy, it's worth it if you have a real true haunting in your house. Because normally when a haunting starts, it starts slow and easy and small, but then it gradually builds to a level that's unmanageable and you can't stand it. And you have to leave your house. People who say that to me, that I can't leave the house, I understand. And people say, why don't you leave the house? And they say, I can't. A lot of people can't. They don't have the money to go leave their home that they're paying rent on or mortgage on and go find another place to live and still pay the mortgage on the first place. It's very difficult. That's why you need to take action. Some of the things you could do, ladies and gentlemen, besides going to get a blessing, is to pray yourselves. I always tell people to pray these following prayers aloud if they can, multiple times a day if they can. The Lord's Prayer, which is the Our Father who art in heaven. The Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, that one. The 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, thou shalt not want. That is another one. The Apostles' Creed, I believe in God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth. The Apostles' Creed. St. Michael the Archangel prayer. St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the snares and wickedness of the devil. That one. The St. Michael the Archangel prayer. Say those prayers aloud every day. If it were me in a haunted house, I'd say them as many times as I could say them a day. And when I got the blessing from the priest, I would get holy water so I could bless myself. I don't know how many other religions bless themselves this way, but in Catholicism, it's this way. So it's forehead, chest, left shoulder, right shoulder. You say the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. That's how you would bless yourself. And you can use holy water to do it. Dip your hand in the holy water, then do it. Holy water sprinkled throughout the house. It's another thing. Bless salt which is another. You take a regular table salt and bring it to a priest or someone who could bless it and have the salt and the water blessed. And you can sprinkle the salt throughout the house. And you could have Saint Benedict medals placed strategically, blessed Saint Benedict medals. When you buy a medal online, they're usually not blessed. You have to get them blessed by an ordained member of the clergy. So you get some Saint Benedict medals, you place them on the outside of the property line, the four corners of the outside property, for instance, and bury them in the ground. Shallow, doesn't have to be deep, could be an inch too. And place them on the windowsills and the entranceways, the door jambs of your house. You could also get pontifical incense, which is the stuff they use in churches. It's crystals, little crystals of incense. It's called pontifical incense. You can get that online, have that blessed. And then burn that in the house. Infuse the house with the incense. Now, I would also do this. I would also get Gregorian chants. That's music. It's not really music, it's chanting by monks. Gregorian chants. You can get that online or from your phone. And I would play that as much as I could play it as background music throughout the house. So that's what I would do. I would get holy water, sprinkle it throughout the house. I would get the incense, burn it throughout the house. I would get the Gregorian chants and play it like background music as long as you could stand it. It's really very nice. But, if you play a song 1,000 times, after a while it gets on you. So as long as you could stand it, play it low. It doesn't have to be blaring on your phone or on another device. Those things can help ward off the haunting and get rid of what's there. Now, how does it do that? Why do these things work? Well, first they need to be blessed. That means by the infusion of authority by an ordained member of the clergy. And let me explain it to you guys this way. This is the nicest way I like to explain this. Imagine that you and your friend go to a bar. And you don't smoke, you don't drink, and you hate jazz music, right? You hate jazz music. So you go into a lounge or a bar just to talk, maybe have a cup of coffee. Oh, there's the phone. Let me stop this. Sorry about that, guys. That was the veterinary hospital asking our address to send a receipt for a charity that we sent out to help pay a vet bill. My wife has an organization where she pays for animal rescues, vet bills on seriously ill cats and dogs and horses and everything else that people can't pay for. She sells jewelry made from Lorraine's costume jewelry, Lorraine Warren, her mother, and sells it, and 100% of the profits, 100% goes towards these charities. She doesn't even deduct for the supplies like the wire or the fillings and things like that on the bracelets or the tags. But getting back to the bar, the lounge. Hi, Allie. Getting back to the bar and the lounge. You don't smoke, you don't drink, you hate jazz music. So you go to this bar with your friend who does drink, we'll say, and does smoke and does like jazz music, who just takes you there. You walk into the place and they're playing jazz music. It's grating on your nerves. People are smoking and blowing smoke in your face. You hate it. You're getting choked by the smoke. People are getting drunk and obnoxious. You can't even stand the smell of the booze on their mouths. Let me ask you a question. How long are you going to stay in the bar? You're going to get out of that bar as quickly as you can, right? Now go back to the pontifical incense, the holy water, and the chants. The holy water is like the booze to a devil that you hate. Holy water they hate. Anything pious, holy, blessed, they hate. The chanting music, they don't like it. It's like jazz to them. They hate it. The smoke, like I said, the incense, they hate it. They hate the smell of the holy, blessed incense How long do you think these entities are going to stay in the house? I don't think they're going to stay very long. That's like a three-pronged attack right there. Holy water, blessed incense, chants. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I do when I go to a house and it's haunted. Before we try to get an exorcism going or a deliverance going, we have the person or persons get the house blessed, get themselves blessed, and do what I just said. Now, does it work immediately all the time, the first time, every time? No. Just like a cancer treatment may not work the first time, every time with the newest approach or the slowest or the easiest approach, which might be cutting out the cancer, right? But then the cancer, they want to make sure it's gone. So what do? They bombard it with chemo. They bombard it with radiation. That's your job, to bombard the evil, to bombard these things with the holy water, with the prayers, with the incense, with the chants, to keep it down until it finally leaves forever. So that, ladies and gentlemen, to me, is how you should deal with a house that you believe is haunted. Now, is it going to take business away from me? I hope so. I got more business than I can handle with people calling us. Now, we don't charge for our cases. We don't charge a dime. Matter of fact, 3 of my team members went to Pennsylvania Saturday. I was kind of under the weather. They went, Dan Rivera, Jim Petnito, and Eric Vitale all went. And they took care of a case down in Pennsylvania for me. Well, for themselves, for the team, NESPR. That took them 3 hours to get there. They spent all day, got hotel rooms, spent the night. Afterwards, they didn't get $1. We don't get paid. So people will say we're in it for the money, like they used to say about Ed and Lorraine. That's total BS. If we were in it for the money, we'd charge, and we don't. Anybody who charges you to go on a case, if you call in a paranormal group, first you should do your research, make sure they're a legitimate group. If you call in a paranormal group or contact a group and they say, oh yeah, we'd like to come out. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad, but we need $300 up front. I wouldn't do it. Because are they going to help you, or are they going for the $300? That's the question. That's the problem. Just like a psychic. If you go to a psychic reader, are they giving you this information because they really, truly want to impart this knowledge to you, or is it because they want the $500 up front? You know, how if you said to them, well, you know what, if the reading's any good, I'll give you $500, or whatever the charge would be. See how many would do the reading? I don't think too many. Because, you know, money makes the world go round. And money, the love of money, is the root of all evil. It really is. I've lost friends over money. I've lost friends because they think I have money. I don't have a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. If I had a lot of money, I'd be driving that new Corvette that I like, that I want, the C8, the 2020. I don't have that kind of money. And I'm not going to sell my soul in debt to the car dealership or the bank to have one. So I'm happy with what I have, which is a 2018 Honda CR-V. I have a 2002 Tacoma pickup truck, and my hot rod, of course, that I'm building, which will be just as powerful as the Corvette. But getting back to paranormal groups, be leery. Be very leery of them. Psychics, be very leery. You know, when I look on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere, or people who contact me, they're all empaths. They're all sensitives. They're all psychics. I never knew there were so many psychics that existed. And then you ask them a question that they can't give you a good answer. I've had psychics try to read me. And I had one guy who said he was a fantastic psychic. And everybody was going to him. He said to me, he goes, I like to read you for free. I said, oh, really, for free? And remember, I protect myself anyway. If they like it or not, to myself, I use the white light. And I ask God to protect me from any spirits that try to invade. So he looked at me and he started to rattle off a few things. Totally off base. The first thing he said to me was, you used to have a Mustang, huh? I said, no, I never had a Mustang. He goes, yeah, it was a red Mustang, right? I go, no. He was trying to convince me that I had a Mustang. I never had a Mustang. Everything he said was totally off base and never did come to fruition. And at the end of the reading, he finally looked at me and said, you know, you're the first guy I couldn't read. You're very difficult to read. Was that a coincidence that I'm the first guy that he couldn't read? Come on. Because I knew his game. His game was actually this. He wanted to build a name for himself by reading me and me saying that he was great. The only psychic I knew that was good, and she never charged $1, was Lorraine Warren. She knew her stuff, but she never did it for money. In fact, a couple of times I said to Lorraine, this is years and years ago, hi Allie, before I knew any better, Lorraine, why don't you charge for these readings? Everybody wants to get a reading from you. Why don't you just charge them? Hi Al. Yeah, that's me. That's my cross over here. That's my crucifix here. The difference between a cross and a crucifix, by the way, a cross has no image on it. Crucifix has the image of Jesus on it. This is a crucifix here. And that's my mom's wedding ring. It's on a chain here. Ollie, what is it? Do you want to be part of the show? Is that it? I guess he does. Ollie's a great little cat, aren't you, Ollie? So he's probably wondering, what the heck are you doing talking with that microphone? I don't know what he's doing. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to talk to you and give you some insight on hauntings. I've been getting a lot of good comments from you guys. Only a few negatives, which I'm happy about. The negative ones, by the way, I just delete immediately like you guys said. I don't need negativity in my life. I really don't. Hi, Al. You want to say hello to anybody, Ollie? You want to say hi? Huh? Ollie, I don't know, Ollie. You're nuts. You're crazy, Ollie, you know. So I guess I better go because Ollie wants to eat. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in and being so thoughtful on your comments. And I'd like to get more subscribers if I could. I have about 42,000 now, which I thought was really good until I saw these other people. You know, these 20-year-old kids got 1 million followers. 1 million followers. So if I could get more subscribers, I'd be happy, but I'm not going to force anybody to subscribe. Ollie, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this now. You want to say goodbye to everybody, Ollie? Ollie, look. Look, Ollie, look. Look over there, Ollie. There you go, Ollie. Say goodbye. We'll see you guys. Stay